Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast. It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime! Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it is MRN's Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength here on Motor Racing Network. So glad you joined us. Hey, we had a whole lot of fun yesterday with Ashley Stremme. She's our co-host over on the MAV TV show. She is not around these parts. We had fun yesterday with her with our Sage Fruit promotion as she is now out on the West Coast. Aaron Evernham is on vacation, so I've stepped down a little bit in the appearance category. But we've stepped up with a co-host as far as performance on the racetrack goes. Kyle Larson joins us. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming in. I know we had to twist your arm to talk sprint car racing.
Oh, never.
I know, exactly. And we have a lot to talk about. Saturday night, the Kings Royal, so many stories. You know, Donnie Schatz just dominated that race, dominated that night. Not necessarily, well, he did the race, but he dominated that night. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just typical Donnie. You know, he's just a dominant race car driver, and especially when you take him to Eldora and when they're paying big money, he seems to step up. Always seems to find a way to the front, whether I think you've seen years past where he qualifies bad or good. It doesn't matter. He seems to find his way to the front. How
about your friend Christopher Bell? You even mentioned him post-race Sunday at New Hampshire. What a ride he gave Tony Stewart's 14 car.
Yeah, that was he's always fast when he gets in a wing sprint car, but especially when he gets in the 14, and he's extremely good. And I really think if he didn't get into the back of Hod there off of 2, he probably would have ran down Donnie, and it would have been an interesting race.
It really would have. That's wing damage. That's lost momentum, lost some wing damage as well. I think the other thing that really fascinated me about the Kings Royal is you had Cole Duncan, first ever start in the Kings Royal. You had Ryan Smith, drove Mark Caldron 07. He's in relief for Doug Ash. And I think that's the thing that amazes me, and one of the things I love about sprint car racing, wing sprint car racing, is while you have the big guys, you have these stories, and this year the Kings Royal didn't disappoint with those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I for sure thought this year Kings Royal was a fun race to watch because, you know, you had Cole Duncan, Lee Jacobs, Ryan Smith come from the back, who actually got hard charger. Everybody talks about Christopher Bell, and he actually got the hard charger award. So it was cool to see Donnie win again, but it would have been really cool to see kind of somebody that you didn't expect win, but still an awesome feature, and to go 40 laps nonstop was a pretty cool race.
Impressive, no doubt about it. And by the way, the largest crowd in the history of the Kings Royal was there at Eldora Speedway. So that is one of our classic ink screen printing embroidery hot topics. Another one from out on the West Coast. I love this story because you're from the West Coast. The Kading family is royalty out there. It was the Howard Kading Classic at Ocean Speedway. But when we got to Victory Lane, it was royalty and Howard in Victory Lane with a 15-year-old kid, Buddy Kofoid, that is. Amazing what's happening out there, and amazing what the Kading family means to the sport.
Yeah, for sure. The Kading family is, they've done a ton for my career, really. If you kind of go back and look when I got hooked up with them, with Rich Saddleoffer, that was kind of the beginning of my career. So, you know, I owe a lot to them. But you know, for what they do for that race at Ocean Speedway is awesome, and to see, you know, Buddy Kofoid win that is great. You know, he's done such a great job stepping into sprint car racing. He's 15, but this is probably like his 3rd or 4th year. But yeah, you know, I got, you know, Buddy grew up racing outlaw karts, and I got, when I was kind of getting out was when he was getting in and racing box stocks and stuff, and I could tell. Even then, I don't know, he's probably 6 or 7 years old at the time, that he was going to be really, really good. And it's neat to see him kicking butt in a sprint car right now.
It is good. His first career King of the West NARC Series win, winning the Howard Kading Classic. There you have it, our Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. Great t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, towels, hats, and more. www.classicinkusa.com. Didn't mention to you our guest list today. Carson Macedo had a couple of wins. He'll join us. And Mark Dobmeier, he picked up the win at Knoxville. We'll talk to both those drivers coming up in just a moment.
Find Wing Nation on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and in the MRN.com Media Center.
Want to race against Tony Stewart? You can at the 5th Annual Weld Racing Go-Kart Spectacular. 1 o'clock Wednesday, August 9th at Slideways Karting Center in Knoxville, Iowa. Join Stewart, NASCAR drivers Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kamikaze Chris Day from TV Street Outlaws, and Pirelli World Challenge driver Shea Holbrook. Registration is open to only 50 racers at least 16 years old with an entry donation of $400 per person. You'll receive an event t-shirt and goodie bag containing Weld Racing and autographed Tony Stewart merchandise. Log on to TonyStewartFoundation.org for your spot. Donations benefit the Tony Stewart Foundation's initiative Team One Cure. See you at Slideways.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest feature exhibit is our salute to champion Sammy Swindell, June 9th through October 15th, at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Stop in and check out 8 of Sammy's original race cars and see his trophies, uniforms, and more as you learn about his outstanding career. The salute to champion Sammy Swindell is only this season at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Today, Toyota's featured NASCAR fan is Dr. Tom Pierce.
So, Dr. Tom, what's your claim to fame?
Well, due to all of Toyota's NASCAR wins last year, I wrote thousands of doctor's notes for fans for overexcitement hypertension, a condition that requires a day off work to rest.
Sounds like a responsible doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a real doctor, bro. Would a doctor get a guy off work for overexcitement about the new Camry? Because I did.
Let's go NASCAR fans!
Toyota, let's go places. To learn more, visit ToyotaRacing.com. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Hi, I'm Rico Aber, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Thank you, Rico. Welcome back. We are having a great time. Kyle Larson sitting in for Aaron Evernham today here on MRN's Wing Nation. And let's go to the guest line, picking up 2 wins with the MOWA Series this weekend and a third-place run over in Ohio. Carson Macedo was on the line. Hello, Carson. Welcome to Wing Nation.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We are doing well. Coming off a pretty solid weekend. Tell us a little bit about the success you've had this weekend.
Yeah, so it was kind of a last-minute decision to go to Illinois. We were actually set to go to Eldora to, run the Kings Royal, and just got into a situation with one of our engines, and they're really the one that we would have liked to take over there. It was kind of up on the ice, and so it was a last-minute decision that Joe Gertie and Tim Norman made that we would go to Illinois and run a couple races, and fortunately we were able to pick up a couple wins, and I think it was good for our team, built some momentum and some confidence and all that good stuff, And then last night, I actually went to Mansfield, Ohio, and raced for the Helms family and with Andy Potter working on the car and run third. Got into a battle there. I led till about lap 20 and got into a little battle there with Rico, and he threw a pretty big slider on me, and I tried to slide him back and just lost my momentum a little bit. And Spencer Basin kind of slid in there and kind of got into a 3-car battle, and the yellow came out, and we ended up running third, which was a little bit of a bummer after leading so many laps. But not a bad night. It's the first time I've ever drove for the Helms and worked with Andy. So it's we're just running a little 5-race stint here. I'm going to be at Lernerville on Tuesday, and then the 3 All-Star shows in Pennsylvania this weekend. So cool little, I guess you could say, sort of a speed week.
Yeah, right on. Well, this is Kyle Larson here, Carson.
Yeah,
congrats on the good weekend. I look at the tracks that you won at, Lincoln and Fairbury. I think both of those are fairly small racetracks, similar to what you grew up on. So, I think me speaking from experience, anytime I go to a short track, I'm really excited. So I'm sure you felt the same way. But I guess just maybe talk a little bit about how your nights went at both of those MOWA races.
Yeah, so I've definitely that's definitely the case. You show up to a place like Knoxville or some of them other places that are real big, and it's a little harder to get a handle on just because obviously growing up in the little small places, you just get used to being able to race on little tracks like that. So Yeah, I was pretty excited to go to Lincoln in February. I ran there, in the midget, and had some success there in the 3G early in the year with the All-Stars, and so I was pretty excited to go to Lincoln. Started out the night, qualified pretty decent, and in the heat race there, had a good heat. Started 6th and was able to get the win. And then in the feature, I ended up drawing the I think the invert worked out to where I started 2nd outside front row, and got the lead off the start, and just kind of running the bottom at 1 and 2, the top in 3 and 4, and it's right on the fence pretty much both ends, but it just seemed like the bottom stuck around long enough in 1 and 2 that I could still get off the corner. And then as the race went on, it got slicker, and I ended up on the top on both ends. It's quite a bit of cautions and reds. We ended up having a fuel start. At the end, we were able to get it, able to get the win. So we were pretty excited about that. And then going to Fairbury the next night, it was kind of an IRA MOWA combined show, so a lot of the IRA guys were there, and haven't won an IRA race yet with a 3G, so that was kind of something that we were hoping to do. I was leading one a couple weeks ago at Wilmot and spun out myself leading, so that was a bummer. And so to get the win with that was pretty cool. Fairbury was awesome. I mean, it's just a really cool place because it gets right on the fence on both ends, and it's just, big cushion ledged up and sliders, and that always makes for good races. So we won we won the race, qualified quick time, and won the heat race. So sweep the night was pretty cool, and I guess you just can't ask for much more than that.
Carson, decisions in this sport sometimes are tough, and there are times you wanted to win Saturday night. We understand you wanted to go to Eldora. The decision was made, and you described a little bit what you guys worked on with the engine and everything like that. When initially that decision was made, how tough is that as a young race car driver, knowing that you can't go where you want to go, and it turned out all right for you, but how tough is it in those moments when those decisions are made?
Yeah, so it's funny because I was talking to my dad a little bit about this. At first I was a little upset, bummed out, but I understood, and I know that, growing up racing for my dad, when I raced micros for my dad, and we didn't really always have the budget probably that we needed, and so we had to do things and run certain races to try to make some money and to try to, keep the team going, or situations come up with engines or whatever the case might be of where we had to go for a certain reason. And so I think a little bit of it is just being, smart enough to realize that, okay, I realize that we really want to go to the Eldora and run the Kings Royal, and that's probably where I need to be. If you want to be the best, you have to race with the best, and all the Outlaws they make you better each night. And a lot of the times you go there and you get beat up, but it makes you a better race car driver. And so every chance I get to race with them guys, I try to. I really do think that it makes you a lot better. And so yeah, it was a bit of a tough decision, but I understood exactly what was going on and the situation we were in, and so it was just something that I finally just Tim Norman, the owner, he was kind of asking me some questions about what I wanted to do or where we were going to go, and I finally just told him just I'm just a driver, just tell me where we're going to go. I don't want to be the decision maker. You just tell me where we're going to go, and I'll be there. So that's pretty much how it ended.
Kyle, have you ever been in a spot where you've had to go somewhere where you didn't necessarily want to go along the way? Or, I know that coming up through and budgets and constraints and things like that, has that ever been something and where sometimes you have to take a step backward to go forward?
Not off the top of my head, I can't think of
you
one.
Can't specifically,
but, I'm sure I've ran into it, a time or two, at least in my sprint car racing, when I was probably back in California racing, for Dave Rotullo, and there was probably a Golden State race at the time that I wanted to go run, but we ended up going to maybe Petaluma or something for a local race, just because, same thing Carson's speaking on, you might be at the limit on your engine, or the nights that you can put on your engine, your 410 engine, or you just know that you'll have a better shot at making more money at this place. So it's definitely a crappy spot to be in as a driver, because he said, you want to be where the best is, and be running those big races. But at the same time, you kind of got to think of what's best for your team.
Well, what's best for the team is going to victory lane, and you certainly did that a couple times, Carson. Congratulations on those wins. If you're gonna go somewhere else, at least park it on the front stretch, and you certainly did that. So congratulations on those wins, and thanks for the time joining us here on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
There we go. That's Carson Macedo joining us here on the program after 2 wins with the MOWA Series. Actually, that was a combine IRA race on Saturday night at Fairbury American Legion Speedway. We need to step away. When we come back, we're going to talk Knoxville because Mark Dobmeier put it in victory lane on Saturday night. We'll talk to him. Dynamite. Mark Dobmeier next.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Keep your windows clean and see clearer with Gunk Glass Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 1 bottle of Gunk Glass Cleaner and get 1 free. Gunk's high-performance ingredients clean glass and hard surfaces without leaving a film or residue. Gunk Glass Cleaner, buy 1, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Danica Patrick here. When I have friends and guests at the track who want to hear me drop pearls of wisdom during the race, I send them to Racing Electronics.
Yeah, right back there?
I think so. I didn't, other than hitting a car, I didn't hit anything, but there's a tire down or something.
If you aren't listening to all the action live, you're missing out. Don't forget to rent a scanner or fan vision for the races. Go to racingelectronics.com to pre-rent for great discounts on your scanner and fan vision rentals.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Welcome back. It is MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Kyle Larson and Steve Post. Let's go right back to the guest line. Joining us fresh off from a trip to Victory Lane on Saturday night at the famed Marion County Fairgrounds in Knoxville, Iowa. Mark Dobmeier, Dynamite, is on the line. Hello, Mark. Welcome back to the show.
You bet. Thanks for having me again.
Well, dude, where you been all year? I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk to you as much. Glad you made it to Victory Lane so we could dial you up.
You bet. Yeah, we've been kind of bouncing all over this year. Now that Badlands Speedway isn't in operation, we've been running a lot of Jackson Motorplex and up here at River Cities and whatever their outlaw shows and the occasional Knoxville. So we've been kind of all over this year.
Yeah, great job Saturday night. You know, I guess what we're all kind of wondering now, as Nationals becomes closer, are you gonna continue to run Knoxville leading up to Nationals? I don't think you've ran every race this year, but for sure, a lot of money on the line for sure in August, and would like to see you win another prelim night and challenge for a Saturday night win. So Knoxville's a tough place. So are you gonna be there week in and week out leading up to Nationals?
Well, we're not really for sure yet. We're not going to be there this Saturday, we know. But we're probably going to hit at least one more, and then we'll hit that Capitani Classic. But we've been there. This was our second trip this year. Our first trip we had some success too, not where we wanted, but we were 5th quick in qualifying and ran good in the heat and ran 5th in the features. So we've been only been there twice, and we've had 2 pretty decent performances there. So we're kind of comfortable on our baseline there, but we definitely want to go back there a couple more times and fine-tune everything before all the money's on the line for the Nationals. So.
Mark, those decisions, because we have guys that are now zeroed in on Knoxville. They're going to be there every time the gates open. And we have other guys that are like, I'm staying away from the place because I've got my baseline. How tough a decision is that for you guys to make in that go there and wear ourselves out on us or lay back and go in there and run well and with what you have?
I don't know. It's kind of a different. We ran Knoxville for points for I think about 9 years, and we did that where we'd go in, night out, and kind of wear yourselves out on it and keep coming up with whatever you can. And I remember a couple of years, I think the night that we ran that won the prelim night, I went there every week, and I struggled the whole first part of the season. And then we come out the prelim night, and it's just like we just hit it, came out, won the prelim night, and then ran good in the feature. I think we ran 6th or something in the feature, and had a good nationals, and then we came back the final race of the year and ended up winning that too. So it's weird. You can bang your head against the trailer all summer long there, and then if things click and bang nationals time, I mean they just do, you know. So we plan on hitting, like I said, a couple more times, and then definitely for the nationals. So
yeah, Knoxville is a very tough place. I've gotten to run there a handful of times, and you know, I felt the same way as him. You know, one night you're way off, and you're like, gosh, I just suck here. And then I look back at 2012 was my first year, and I wasn't very good, and then ended up winning my prelim night. So I feel what he's talking about, but amazing. Man, the month of August is so fun at Knoxville.
It is absolutely amazing, that's for sure. Mark, one of the things you talked about in Victory Lane was you've been happy with your speed at Jackson, another half-mile track, and Knoxville, but you've had success obviously in the short tracks as well. How much of a difference are there between this is the amateur guy here, the guy that's never driven a race car before, short track speed and half-mile speed? How much of a difference is there in what you guys have to do to achieve both of those?
They're two completely different tracks. It's like racing at Knoxville or Knoxville especially, but Jackson's very similar to that. It's a whole different ball game. I call it a lot more like NASCAR racing. I mean, it's almost drafting comes into play because you get the dirty air and you got to be smooth on the wheel. If you start sawing on that wheel, you're just plain old slow, you know. And you hit the short tracks and it's like elbows up. That's where your speed comes from. You're the guy that can twist the car around and make things happen in short little spots. That's the guys that advance. So it's two completely different styles of driving in my eyes.
Kyle, you're shaking your head. You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I've gotten to race now. I grew up on short track, so I like
short track guy,
muscling the car around. But then, I think where I struggle would be bigger tracks, half miles and stuff. I think you kind of look at my Pennsylvania Speed Week, and I was good up until I got to Hagerstown, and that's a place where you got to lock the elbows. So definitely tough. But I guess would there be a certain we talked about small tracks and big tracks. Would there be a certain style of track that you feel like you're best at?
Definitely like Houston Speedway or River Cities. That's kind of my cup of tea. I'm definitely better at the short tracks. Through my years past, I've had stints of speed at the big tracks. I always have, I think, 14 wins at Knoxville over the years, and I've won at them. But to come in consistently night in, night out, and be fast, I've definitely struggled a lot more at the bigger tracks than the smaller tracks. But it seems like this year we worked on our qualifying a lot, and I think that's what's helped us out the most. It's putting us in position to start at least somewhere towards the front, and then let the racing take over from there. And I think that's been our biggest key to running good this year.
Final question for you, Mark. You walked out of there with a side of beef, courtesy of the fairgrounds or the fair board there. How does one walk out with a side of beef, and how is that going to be divvied up with everyone? Because I heard you say you like steak.
I kind of wondered that myself, but I got a text message today of a number to call, and we're supposed to report in what exactly went out of a half a beef, and I don't know how we're going to pick it up because that's obviously down in Iowa, and that's 9.5 hours away from us, so we'll probably have to arrange it and maybe have a lot of cookouts around Knoxville time, I suppose.
Oh, I know some people who can eat. I know some people who can eat well, so let us know on that.
All right, we'll do, buddy.
I can hook you up with some people who can eat the beef. You won the beef. I can hook you up with some people. Have you ever won it, Kyle? Have you ever won anything crazy like that? A side of beef?
No. I read that. I think the 410 winner won like a side of beef, maybe 360 something else.
Side of pig, a side of a hog,
Very
a
livestock race, but that's a cool, unique. I guess really you call it a trophy. I don't know.
Something you'll savor, that's for sure. Yeah. No doubt about it. Well, Mark, we look forward to catching up with you in Knoxville in a few weeks' time. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for joining us here on the program today.
You bet. Thanks. Talk to you again.
There we go. Mark Dobmeier joining us here on the program. We need to step away. We're going to talk a little bit about the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, talk a little bit more with Kyle Larson on a few things as well. So stay with us. It's MR on Wing Nation. We'll continue in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Classic Ink USA Screen Printing and Embroidery is constantly testing the limits of custom racewear and specialized embroidery. Headquartered in Western Pennsylvania, Classic Ink holds the highest standard, maximizing your return as well as the ultimate customer satisfaction. From track swag fan wear to quick crew wear, Classic Ink has you covered. Their dedicated staff and designers will keep your race team and fans looking sharp. Contact Classic Ink today and get your team ahead of the competition. www.classicinkusa.com. That's Classic Ink at the track and on your back.
Only the best go 3 abreast, and they're coming to a track near you in 2017. No matter where you're at, the American Sprint Car Series is near you. From the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, presented by the Mad TV Motorsports Network, to any of the 7 ASCS Regional Tours, there's over 150 nights of racing to choose from in 2017. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Listen live on RacingBoys.com and get the full rundown at ASCSRacing.com.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Summer Brake Deals event. Take advantage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Do It Right rebate and get a $25 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Welcome back. It is MRN's Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Aaron Evernham on vacation, so Kyle Larson sitting in, hanging out. One of the things we like to do, Kyle, is we like to talk about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, one of all of our favorite spots. I mean, that's just a wonderful spot out there. The new Brian Clausen Tower is going up. I see all the groundbreaking pictures. One of the things we do is we talk about Hall of Famer and driver birthdays. Monday was birthday of Bill Randall. Thursday, William Red Rigel and Chuck Gurney. When we look at Saturday, Emma Landers. Sunday is Ian Madsen's birthday. Friday, Louis Meyer, and a guy that I think everyone in the sport knows, Shane Carson's birthday is on Friday, a 2007 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. And it's interesting because Shane is one of those guys, you and I were sitting around talking about it, didn't realize he was with Richard Petty driving experience. Here's a guy that's kind of done everything. Now he's just there to shake your hand and welcome you at everywhere he goes. He's just one of those great ambassadors.
Yeah, no doubt. That was very surprising. I had no idea he drove Richard Petty driving experience, but he's around so much. You know, I see him at a handful of NASCAR races throughout the year, especially when you get around, central United States.
Yeah, the Midwest,
he's a super energetic person, and I always have fun signing autographs with him at the Hall of Fame. You typically do, I think, Thursday or so of Nationals. So always have fun sitting down, talking, and signing with him.
So Friday is Shane's birthday. He's a 1978 Knoxville Raceway champion, World of Outlaw 3 wins, third in points in 1982, won an NCRA championship, promoted races, did the Richard Petty driving experience. Shane Carson has done it all and always meets you. I like that word energetic because he certainly is. And those are the stories that are captured and told at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum right in turn number 2 in Knoxville. Coming up, the Knoxville Nationals. Of course, they have the Sammy Swindell display as well. So going to be a big time out there. Kyle Larson is sitting here as the reigning champ of the Truck Series race. Of course, Motor Racing Network going to be at Eldora tomorrow night for the Truck Series race. You couldn't get a ride or wasn't able to work out for you to defend that crown?
I just wasn't able to work out this year. I got a test at Darlington this week, and I think those are bigger priorities probably right now in the way our season's going. So I wish I could be there, but I'll enjoy watching on TV.
It is really good, that truck race along the way. My final question for you, Kyle, you've had an interesting history, an interesting time in sprint car racing, and a particularly interesting time when it comes to the Pennsylvania Posse. There have been times where they have wore you out. We understand there's been times they wear everyone out. There have been times where they have busted your stones and busted your chops along the way. And there are times within the last few weeks where they bought a boatload of your T-shirts. Where are you at with the Pennsylvania Posse? Are they friend? Are they foe? Where are you at with the Posse now?
More friend now for sure. I had a great time when I went to Pennsylvania this last trip. The couple times I'd been there in years past, I hated it. As soon as I crossed the Pennsylvania border, I just wanted to turn around because I just get a bad vibe because I just never ran good there. The fans let you know that you sucked there. I was excited though to go to Pennsylvania this last time with Paul because he's amazing, and we did a lot better than I anticipated. I was hoping to get a win at Path Valley, and we won 3 in a row. So the racetracks were sold out each and every night. Casey and I were there, and it was awesome to see. It was so cool, and I can't wait to go back.
Wow.
Pennsylvania was awesome. Not sure if I want to go back because I don't know if I'll do as good next time I go back, but I hope to do Speed Week again next year, and I hope the schedule works out where I can do it.
It was really, really fun to watch, that's for sure. So we're certainly in a better spot as far as the friend or foe with Pennsylvania Posse. Big week of sprint car racing coming up. The Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup tonight, Williams Grove Speedway this weekend. Speaking of Pennsylvania, MRN's Wing Nation weekend, Lance DeWeese will join us on there. And Donnie Schatz's going to join us on our MAV TV program. He'll be back on Saturday with Donnie Schatz as well on our MAV TV program. So that's pretty cool as well, getting to talk to the champ.
Yeah, he's the best right now.
He is on top of his game. Kyle, we appreciate you sitting in, filling in for Aaron and for Ashley on the MAV TV show. Thanks for your time. Continued success in NASCAR and sprint cars and all across the board. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks. I had a lot of fun.
There we go. That's Kyle Larson, the sprint car and NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series extraordinaire along the way. Hey, we want to thank you for joining us. Thanks to Carson Macedo and Mark Dobmeier, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on MRN's Wing Nation on the Motor Racing Network.
You've been listening to Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tire, right on our strength. You can also find Winged Nation on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and in the MRN.com Media Center. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.